Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome for qualification for TCR Europe rounds 5 and 6 here at the Salzburgring. As the astute of you can tell by looking at your screen, the weather is somewhat inclement. We've had incredible amounts of rain all day long, and this just adds to the pressure that is going to befall our drivers over the course of these next two qualification sessions. I'd like to take this opportunity to give a big shout out to everybody at the Salzburgring that has stayed firm in the terrible weather to watch the action over the course of this weekend. A big shout out to you all. It's great to see the crowds lining the circuit watching a wealth of entertainment that we've been enjoying over the course of the weekend thus far. And now, as we head into qualification session in what should be a thrilling fight for our TCR Europe drivers as they look to make it through to Q2 to set the grid for race 1 and of course to score the points that they need for their own respective championship challenges. It's wonderful to be here at this absolutely fantastic circuit, one of the quickest tracks that we're going to visit in 2024, a thorough test of skill, determination and not least of all, bravery for our TCR Europe drivers, especially in these difficult weather conditions. We had a test session yesterday for some of our drivers to become acclimatised with the circuit. That was held in intermediate conditions, a wet but drying circuit, but as you can well see on your screens now and in the grandstands around the track, the heavy rainfall continues here in Austria, and that's going to add another element of intrigue, another element of excitement, shall we say, for everybody that's about to hit the circuit. For those of you that have not been following us on social media, a quick update from our free practice running in FP1. It was Franco Girolami quickest with a 1 minute 33.709. To give you an idea, the lap record for a TCR car around this track is a 1 minute 25.481 from the TCR International Series all the way back in 2017. So 1 minute 33.709 for Girolami. He was the quickest driver in FP1. In FP2, that happened a couple of hours ago in full wet conditions. It was Ignacio Montenegro for ALM Motorsport that was the quickest driver, a 1 minute 33.235. There has been limited value, I think it's fair to say, on the running that we've had thus far due to the weather conditions. The weather forecast for tomorrow promises slightly drier weather, so hopefully we'll get some dry running come race time. But in qualifying, it's all about who can get out there, who can be on the track at the right time in order to get the lap time to move through into Q2, which of course will set the grid for race 1 and reverse top 10 for race 2. Both races taking place tomorrow on the TCR TV YouTube channel and TCR Europe on Facebook. Big shout out to the marshals as well that are doing great work as always trackside in these terrible weather conditions. It's a real challenge for our marshals to ensure that we have safe, clean racing out on circuit. So a big thank you not only to the marshals here at the Salzburgring but all around the world for the work that you do that enables us to go racing safely week in, week out. So thank you to everybody, thank you to the fans, and thank you to you folks at home watching. Have a cup of tea for me, because I could do with one. It's cold and wet, as you can see on your screen. And that means touring cars, wet weather, a super fast circuit that very few of our drivers have much racing experience on. Should lead to a very exciting qualification session indeed. And that qualification session will be taking place in a few minutes time. Before we do get into the on-track action though, it's worth running through a few bits of interesting information for you if you're new to the world of TCR Europe or if you're a fan that has followed us all season long. We have got a new driver on the field this weekend, car number 42, the Audi RS3 LMS TCR, Sandro Saubeck. He's an Austrian national driver, although he's not raced around this circuit before, which is unusual, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he gets on in the bright yellow Audi. Mayer Racing Osterol is the team that he is taking part in this weekend. He's had a few experiences in TCR cars over the last couple of years, had a couple of guest appearances in TCR Italy and in TCR Germany as well when that was a thing, but he's of course not raced this year yet, so this is very much a baptism of fire. And look at the rivers of water that are running across the circuit. That's going to be a massive challenge for these drivers. It's going to be very spectacular for those fans in the grandstands though. They'll be looking forward to seeing a TCR touring car at absolute flat chat in this wet weather. And if you've not seen a TCR touring car in person, mark my words, in any weather conditions, they are incredibly spectacular indeed. That's not the circuit, thankfully, that is the river that runs through the Salzburgring. You can see just how hard that water is running. That just gives you some kind of indication of the sort of downpour that we've been experiencing pretty much non-stop since last night all the way through to now, which is 5:25 local time. Constant rain, but the track is good, the track is safe to go racing. It's just going to be a little bit challenging for each and every one of the 13 drivers that are about to embark in this qualification session. It's good to see as well, we have another return for Santiago Concepcion for GOAT Racing. He's back again. Last time out at Zolder, used the opportunity to build his experience in a TCR car, to build his experience in the world of TCR Europe. Santiago has been very quick indeed, thank you very much, over the course of free practice 1 and free practice 2. First session of the day, he came through in 5th position, 0.6 of a second away from Franco Girolami. And then in FP2, improved to 4th place, still 0.6 away from quickest man, Ignacio Montenegro. But it's good to see that Santiago Concepcion, the young Spanish driver, is starting to very much gel with the world of TCR cars in TCR Europe. He's going to be one to watch over the course of this weekend. A little bit of housekeeping for you. Compensation weight for this weekend. Ruben Volt is the heaviest car coming into today. He's got 40 kilograms on board. Aurelien Comte, Nico Baldan carry 30 kilos apiece. Franco Girolami has 20 to his name, and Levente Lasonche just 10 kilograms despite winning last time out at Zolder. In fact, if you didn't watch that one, spoiler alert, avert your ears now. It was 2 races with 2 brand new winners in TCR Europe. Nico Baldan, his very first pole position, his very first fastest lap, and his very first race victory. And then in race 2, Levente Lasonche taking victory for the ALM Motorsport team. Great result for the Hungarian driver. Both Baldan and Lasonche will be incredibly keen to try and replicate that kind of result going into the 2 races that we have got tomorrow morning. The first one, 9:25 CEST, and then race 2, 13:30 CEST. Of course, all live on the TCR TV YouTube channel and TCR Europe on Facebook. If you've not already navigated your way over there, give us a like and a subscribe and a follow, or whatever it is you do nowadays on social media, to keep in touch with all of the action as we go into what is proving to be an incredibly exciting season. The championship could not be closer at the front of the field. Aurelien Comte, Franco Girolami level on points coming into round 5. That will change at the end of qualifying, of course, because we pay points in qualification. So not only are you looking to fight for your place on the grid, but also you're looking for your share of the qualification points. 10 for first, all the way down to 1 point for 7th position of the combined results at the end of Q1 and Q2. Weather, looking out of my commentary box window, I must say a wonderful view from said commentary box, still says we've got rainfall. So everything is going to be, at least be consistent, let's put it that way, for our drivers. Consistency is your friend as a race car driver. Even if the wet weather is a little bit leery behind the wheel of a TCR car, it's going to be very similar to what they experienced a couple of hours ago for free practice 2. And let me tell you as well, I watched a bit of it from trackside, or enough of it I could brave before becoming absolutely sodden. And that final corner is a very tricky proposition indeed in these TCR Europe cars. Lots of sideways action. This is going to be about not only going as quickly as possible, but also staying out of trouble, minimising mistakes. If you can minimise those mistakes as a driver, you can maximise your opportunity of getting on the track at the right time and getting the lap time that you need to take you through to Q2. There are 12 drivers that will go through to Q2, 13 drivers on the grid. One person's going to miss out, and this is going to be a vital session for each and every one. Now, 17, 29 and 27 seconds you saw on your clock there. In just over 30 seconds, the green flag will wave, the pit lane will open, and our cars will flurry out onto the racetrack as they try and find a little bit of real estate and try and set their times that they need. And we all know, anybody who's watched racing of any variety over the years, when the track is wet, the key is to be on track at the right time when the conditions are at their best. And that's when we will see the time set. I'm sure the times will tumble all the way through this qualification session. I can hear the klaxon, you can see the cars. Here we go then. TCR Europe 2024 qualification for round 5 and 6 is go. A little bit of a delay getting out of pit lane there for Victor Davidovski in the Monlan Motorsports car. He was held while the rest of the field made their way through. Teammate Franco Girolamo is the first man on track. Franco Girolamo, incredibly quick, the Argentine driver, over the course of this weekend thus far. Fast in testing on Saturday, fast in testing on Friday, quick in FP1 and FP2 as well earlier today. Girolamo surely is one of the drivers that we're going to be focusing on. In fact, as I say that, there is Victor Davidovski, his teammate. So Davidovski, the first time of asking, has gone off of the chicane, taken the tyre barrier out with him as well. So Victor Davidovski's got the car running again, the Monlan Motorsports Cupra. So the Macedonian driver is back on the racetrack, but a mistake on the outlap just goes to show how difficult these weather conditions are. Of course, tyre stack displaced. That means red flags need to be waved while our marshals return those back to the position they need to be in. So there we go. All that excitement we built up was for nothing, as everybody will return to pit lane. It'll only be a short break as we get the track back in racing condition again. But that just goes to show, have you ever tried to juggle a fish? That's pretty much how difficult it is for these drivers in these touring cars at this moment in time in these conditions. Victor Davidovski, the most experienced driver in TCR Europe, but only on an outlap, making a mistake and contacting that tyre stack just shows how difficult it is for these drivers to navigate their way around this 4.241 kilometre racetrack. There is the sweeper clearing up some of the gravel. If you watch the TCR Europe social channels, you'll have seen just how deep that gravel is here at the Salzburgring. So a lot of mess to clear up. The tyre stack, controversial some might say tyre stack, back in position again. So that'll define exactly where the drivers can and can't go, and that's going to be spicy come race day as well. Keep your eye on that one down into the T1 chicane tomorrow morning as 13 TCR cars go barreling down, trying to find a little bit of an advantage over their rivals. But red flags, a pause in proceedings, but hopefully we'll be going again for Q1 of round 5 and round 6 qualifying here in TCR Europe in a few moments' time. Giovanni Scamardi, car number 34, the SP competition. The Belgian driver was a star of Zolder last time around. If you watched the race, you would have seen Scamardi scrabbling at the front of the field for the very first time this season. Ran out of brakes in the end, a little bit of contact as well for good measure, and it was the history books will record a DNF for Giovanni Scamardi, but those who watched the race will know it was a bit of a coming-of-age moment for the Belgian driver. Really competitive in that race. In the previous race, he had to go down pit lane and came back out again, but gapped the lead cars behind him, despite being a lap in arrear. So Scamardi finding a lot of pace in that SP competition, Cupra Leon VZ TCR, and he's going to be one to keep an eye on. They're smiling in the rain, so that's brave of you. Congratulations. In the rain, everybody who's watching trackside, it's great that you're holding out there despite the difficult conditions. We're going to put on a good show for you, I am sure, once we get green flag running again in a few moments' time. And this is a moment for all our drivers to reflect for a few seconds on just what they experienced. Victor Davidovski is going to be doing more than reflecting. He's going to be talking to his mechanics, making sure there's no damage on that Monlan Motorsports Cupra and getting himself ready to go again. A little bit of a confidence knock, not what a driver needs when it comes to qualification, it has to be said, especially in these conditions. But I'm looking down pit lane, everybody's at 45 degrees, we're all ready to go again. We're just waiting for the cleanup crew to do their fantastic work down in T1. Can just about see that through the mist and murk of the window. Still see some flashing lights, so we're still clearing up the racetrack. In fact, there we go, we can see on screen. Great work again. A big thank you once again to the marshals trackside. Very challenging conditions. They're out there all day, come rain, snow or shine, and it's wonderful to see the work that they do to allow us to go racing. So once again, big thank you to the Orange Army all around the world, doing great work here at Salzburgring in particular to get us in safe and fair conditions to continue this qualification session. Well, we've got a pause in proceedings for all of you watching at home, trackside as well, of course. Don't forget to follow us on the TCR Series social channels. It's where we put all of the interesting content, some of the insight behind the scenes, all the news and the drama. TCR Europe, of course, we're represented on Facebook, Instagram, all social media. So do have a search for us, have a look for us, and hopefully we can entertain you in the gaps between our races. It's a thick and fast series here in 2024. We're back in action again at the circuit Spa-Francorchamps for the next race on the 5th and 6th of July. One of the all-time classic legendary racetracks in Europe. Spa-Francorchamps never fails to deliver a fabulous, fabulous experience. So looking forward to that one. But before we do, we've got the small matter of a little bit of racing to be doing here in a very wet, very cold Zolder, it's not Zolder, that was last time, Salzburgring circuit. As I do think our marshals have now cleared up the racetrack, so hopefully in a few minutes' time we will be ready to qualify once again. Cars lined up in pit lane, team managers holding back their chargers as we get ready to go, awaiting instruction from race direction that pit lane will be reopened. And in just a couple of minutes' time, qualification will begin. Your patience will be rewarded, I promise you. This is going to be an electrifying qualifying session. It's going to be spectacular with an exclamation mark times 2 at the end of it in these conditions. These cars are great at the best of times, but when the track gets wet, that's when you see the skill and the bravery of these drivers in its rawest form possible. Even in free practice, these cars were skating around sideways on the racetrack, but now it's qualifying, and you need to dig a little bit deeper. As we get a green flag, the pit lane has gone green, and qualification can now commence. Q1 here at the Salzburgring, 20-minute session. Only the top 12 drivers will make it through to Q2, so it is vital you get your time on the board as quickly as possible and make sure that you're confident and comfortable that you'll make it through. You can see Victor Davidovski leaving pit lane behind teammate Franco Girolabis. The Macedonian driver hasn't got any terminal damage on that Cupra. Can he make it through T1 this time? Yes, he can. Davidovski through the tyre stacks over the curbs. He'll be hoping to piece together a solid session. We're looking at Nico Baldan as well in the Baldan group by ComTU Audi. Nico did not attend the test yesterday, so he's been catching up somewhat compared to his rivals. Difficult in these conditions to get a real read on the car, but third in the 2024 TCR Europe Championship standings. Baldan unconvincing in FP1 and FP2, very much towards the bottom of the timesheets. The experienced Italian driver will have to dig deep in his playbook to give himself an opportunity to work his way through. Lights are ablaze, of course. We're starting to lose a little bit of daylight here in Austria, mainly due to the difficult weather conditions. Of course, we're very much in the it's glorious, actually. If you've not been to Salzburgring, I can't recommend it enough. It's an incredibly picturesque, beautiful area with the hills and the trees around us. The weather does seem to hang around the circuit a little bit, which is why we've not really cleared this rain over the course of the weekend. As we see there, Fernandez just trying to get himself a little bit of clean racetrack before he starts his push lap. There is Concepcion as well, Santiago Concepcion. Very, very talented young Spanish driver, being very quick in FP1 and FP2. He'll be hoping for a much better weekend, just wiggling the car underneath him, trying to see where the grip is as he winds up now to begin his qualification lap. This is the first time lap for Santiago Concepcion. The run down into T1. First time really on full attack for this Honda Civic FL5 Type R TCR. A little bit tentative on the brakes into the chicane, using the curve, doesn't get too close to the tyre stacks, runs the car out onto the rumble strip. The grip is reduced, of course, when you go away from the racing surface, but that is very neat indeed from the Spanish driver. As we come downhill now, a lot of off-camber braking here at the Salzburgring. It's very, very easy to snatch a brake, very easy to carry too much speed through the apex, and if you do that one, you'll be heading straight to the unforgiving tyre barriers. But Santiago Concepcion, so far, so good for the Honda driver. He'll be hoping for a strong showing here this weekend. Nobody's set a representative time as of yet. Aurelian Comte is on an outlap Nico Baldan on a push lap as well. Nacho Montenegro, very, very quick in FP2. He said purple sector 1, purple sector 2 for Franco Girolami, but as I say, that Montenegro goes a little bit quicker again. So the Argentine very much on a push lap. We're still looking at Santiago Concepcion now, running the outside line. There we pick up the ALM Motorsport Honda of Ignacio Montenegro, the Argentinian current reigning TCR South America champion. He's had a slower start than maybe some expected to TCR Europe in 2024, but we expect him to come on strong very much as the season progresses. Montenegro through the final corner, the green flashes on the wing mirror. Can the Argentinian driver go to the top of the times? Yes, he can. A 1:33.641, a full 0.8 of a second quicker than Franco Girolami after the first time lapse of the day. Good start to proceedings then for Montenegro. We keep with the ALM Motorsports Honda. Look at the water, the standing water on corner exit. That's going to slow Montenegro down significantly. He's still got a purple sector 1 though, so he is going quicker at this moment in time. Here's the Argentine driver trying to gap, an early gap to the chasing field behind. Anybody else on track going a little bit quicker? Sandro Saubeck up in the 5th position as well. Good time, good early time on the board for the Spanish driver, but currently it is Montenegro at the front of the field going very quickly indeed. He's going to be one to keep an eye out, confident in these conditions, feeling happy with the car underneath him after testing when I spoke to him this morning. But of course in the rain absolutely anything can happen, and it usually does, it has to be said. Another thing to note as well, Ruben Volt currently in pit lane. He's not set a representative time, so Ruben Volt, race winner in TCR Europe, of course, hopefully he'll get out and set a representative time as Montenegro now doesn't improve in the second sector, still trending towards an overall quicker time. Ignacio Montenegro, I think he's come away from this one now. Yes, he has. The Argentine driver backed out of this one a little bit. He'll be looking to go again. 13 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Ignacio Montenegro from Franco Girolami. Santiago Concepcion is in 3rd place. Victor Davidovski in 4th position. Aurelian Comte, Victor Anderson, Sandro Saubeck, Nico Baldan, Ruben Fernandez and Felipe Fernandez are our top 10 with 13 minutes left on the clock. There is joint championship leader Aurelian Comte for SP Competition that we see on our screen now. The blue and silver Cupra facelifted for this season. It's got a new front end on that car. It's a very, very potent weapon in the hand of Aurelian Comte. He's got a lot of weight on board for this weekend, but he's still confident of having a good race meeting. 30 kilos Aurelian Comte compensation weight he is carrying. As I've just seen a message on my screen, car number 11 has had his last lap time deleted for not respecting track limits at turns 1 and turns 2. That is Ruben Fernandez. That drops him to 8th position on the timing screen as Comte now comes through the final corner. Currently, Aurelian Comte is in 9th position. Will this be a time? No, it won't. In fact, he's coming down pit lanes for Aurelian Comte, electing to bail from that one, get a fresh set of Kumo tyres on that car, and he'll go out again. 12 minutes left on the clock of this 20-minute Q1 session. Montenegro going faster again as Franco Girolami tops the times with a 1:33.631. Franco Girolami, fastest driver currently as things stand from Ignacio Montenegro. Victor Anderson off screen as well improves into 3rd position in the sole Lincoln Co 03 FLTCR in the field this season. Montenegro crosses the line. It does improve. Montenegro goes quickest. Ignacio Montenegro, Franco Girolami, the two Argentinian drivers trading fastest laps at the front of the field. Good time from Montenegro. He's a man on form. Really, really good time. Give you an idea again, just if you didn't see the start of the show. Lap record for a TCR car, a Gen 1, it has to be said, TCR car, a 1:25.481 in 2017. Mato Homola in the Opel Astra TCR. Obviously that was in dry conditions. These are full wet conditions, make no mistake, yet we're still rocking around in a 1:33.489. I do believe if the conditions become dry in the race tomorrow, we will certainly see a new TCR record for these cars. Sandro Saubeck, first time we've seen him on screen as well. Another one of our Spanish drivers here in TCR Europe. He's making his debut this weekend. as Victor Davidovsky gets all crossed up to the final corner. Davidovsky currently in 7th position, and Girolami, my mistake, my apologies. Girolami all crossed up. He crosses the line 33.631, 1.5, just under tenths of a second away from Montenegro at the front of the field, with 10 minutes and 26 seconds left on the clock. Look at the way that Girolami is attacking the curves. He is full attack, is the Argentinian driver on this qualification session. He's hungry as he possibly can be to try and get the maximum points haul, to get the front starting position for race 1, as he's on a dead heat tie as things stand with Aurelien Comte in the 2024 TCR Europe Championship standings. So every point, every opportunity, every win he can chalk up to his name versus his French rival is a big opportunity for Franco Girolami. Another one of our championship challengers, Nico Baldan, currently in 8th position, the Italian driver, having a much better run in qualifying than we saw in the 2 previous free practice sessions. Giovanni Scamardi, that we saw briefly on our screen, is in 6th position. There is Scamardi in the orange and silver Cupra for SP competition. The Belgian driver, Giovanni Scamardi, dropped to 7th in the timing screen as he crosses the line. Now he fails to improve on that particular lap. He stays in 7th position. Ruben Fernandez, the car just ahead, is the man that is currently displaced the Belgian driver, Ruben Fernandez, up into 6th position. Levente Lasonche crosses the line as well. Good time from the Hungarian. Lasonche moves up to 3rd position at 33.894, 4/10 of a second away from current pace setter Ignacio Montenegro. Good stuff from Lasonche, riding high on a crest of a wave following his win last time out at Circuit Zolder. Lasonche very much a young up-and-coming driver and a name to watch in the world of touring cars. Another name to watch though, Santiago Concepcion, moves up in a 3rd place for Goat Racing. Fabulous time at 33.633 for the young Spaniard. He is just 1.5 tenths away from Montenegro. That just goes to show there's still grip out there on the racetrack. Lap times are slowly but surely beginning to tumble. You need to be out on the racetrack. You need to be setting laps at this moment in time. And currently the likes of Montenegro, Girolami, Anderson, Felipe Fernandez, Nico Baldan and Aurelien Comte in pit lane as Ruben Volt moves up in a 6. ALM Motorsports Honda Civic FL5 TCR, 1:34.191 for Estonian driver Ruben Volt as he starts to make headway in the overall standings. 7 minutes then and 53 seconds left to go. Don't really need saying, but the rain continues to fall as we look now on our screens at Santiago Concepcion. Pretty much the all-white Honda Civic. There's a few sponsor logos on there, but it's a very straightforward and plain livery on Santiago's car. Makes it kind of easy to spot in a perverse sort of way. No livery really on there, makes it stand out from the rest of the field, and Concepcion did a great job up in 3rd position at this moment in time. Car number 33, position number 03 as things stand. Great bit of running there from the Spaniard. 1.5, just under tenths of a second away from the ultimate pace. In these kind of conditions though, very easy to find or lose tenths of a second out of the racetrack. Santiago on a cool down lap at this moment in time. Will he come down pit lane? Will he go again? We'll find out as he navigates his way slowly but surely through the final corners. Windscreen wipers ablaze, of course, in these weather conditions. He might not be following anybody, but the rain is kicking up on the windshield as Santiago comes down pit lane to go and see his team get a fresh set of Kumho tyres on board the Honda Civic, and he will go again with 6.5 minutes left on the clock as Montenegro and Girolami are on their out lap, so they're not feeling confident and comfortable at this stage. I want to give it another push. Aurelien Comte through the final corner. Aurelien Comte on a bit of a charge as things stand. He'll not be happy at all with his 12th position as he begins his flying lap on the run down, the tricky run down into this first chicane. You've got to be careful not to catch that standing water. A little bit squirrely under braking for the Cupra driver. Catches the curve very nicely indeed, lifts the wheel as well does Aurelien Comte, showing this very much on a push lap. Is the 2017 TCR European Cup winner and champion. Of course, has already won the TCR Europe race at Vallelunga, and he's currently the joint championship leader. So Aurelien Comte very much coming into a rich vein of form this season and proving himself to be more than a match for our 2022 champion, Franco Girolami, at the head of the standings. We watch him now going through the quickest part of the racetrack here at the Salzburgring. Got to be very cautious for standing water over the mini river that is crossing the racing tarmac. He goes, no problems at all for that Cupra. SP have very much set this car up for wet conditions. Very, very tentative you have to be through the long swooping right-hander. Don't run too wide. We've seen many drivers, Rob Huff famously, getting it wrong there and finding himself upside down very quickly indeed. No such problem though for Aurelien Comte as he charges down into the final very quick chicane. A little bit of caution there for the standing water. Let's see how sideways to the final corner this Cupra is going to be. No, relatively smooth for Aurelien Comte. He's going to break the timing beams. Yes, he does. Moves up in a sixth position. 1 minute 34, 1:06. 6/10 of a second away from current fastest man, Ignacio Montenegro. From Franco Girolami, Santiago Concepcion, Levente Lasonche, Victor Anderson, and Victor Davidovski just moves up in a sixth, dispossessing Aurelien Comte, who drops to seventh, ahead of Ruben Volt in eighth, Felipe Fernandez ninth, Ruben Fernandez in 10th, Giovanni Scumadi and Nico Baldan being the last of those drivers, as things currently stand, that will progress to Q2. Sandro Sobek is 13th and last, 2.6 seconds away from the ultimate pace. While we were running down the top 10, Franco Girolami goes quickest of all again in the Monlau Motorsports machine, 1 minute 32, 9:46. That is a healthy half a second advantage over the chasing pack. Montenegro does not like that one iota, and he immediately leaves pit lane as he looks to start his charge to challenge at the front of the field. Concepcion, Anderson and Felipe Fernandez are drivers in pit lane. Ruben Fernandez and Ignacio Montenegro are on their outlaps, looking for a final roll of the dice as we watch Levente Lasonche on our screen, the Hungarian driver, 20 years of age, one last time around in Zolder. Lasonche using that confidence to his advantage, and it's very, very interesting to see how the ALM Motorsport machine, the body language of Levente Lasonche's car suggests fourth position feels good, but not good enough for the Hungarian. He wants more in this Q1 session as Aurelien Comte moves up in a fifth position. Good time there from Aurelien Comte. Car number 42, last lap time will be deleted, of course. Turn 1 and 2, track limits, car number 42 being Sandro Sobek. Doesn't change anything, Sandro's still down in 13th position. 2 minutes 42 on the clock then. This is Franco Girolami. Decides that last lap was good enough for me down in pit lane. Change of socks, because I'm sure his feet are wet just like mine are, and that'll be enough to get through to Q2 quite comfortably, I think, for the Argentine driver. He has got a healthy 2.2 seconds, nearly 2.3 seconds over the man on the bubble, Nico Baldan, down in 12th. So 2 minutes 16 on the clock. Where are the big movers and shakers in this session? I think it's fair to say that Nico Baldan, perfect timing, well done race director. Just as I talk about it, he comes on screen. That is Nico Baldan, the sole Audi. No, sorry, in fact, there's two Audis in the field now, because Sobek's here as well. The Baldan Group by ComTU machine of Nico Baldan, third in the 2024 championship standings, a winner last time out at Zolder, all the way down in 12th position in qualifying. The lack of running from having missed testing on Friday beginning to show for the experienced Italian. He needs to find a healthy 2.3 seconds in order to be in the conversation for the front of the grid with Girolami, Montenegro and Concepcion as things stand. That's probably going to be a bridge too far, but Nico Baldan will certainly be a little bit more confident if he can get himself well inside that top 10. Aurelien Comte drops down one as Ruben Volt, by the way, moves up in a fourth position. So Volt jumping up the running order as we come to the conclusion of this opening segment of qualifying. Remember, this is Q1, we'll have a 5-minute break, and then we'll go again for a 10-minute Q2 session to set the grid for race 1 and the reverse top 10 for race 2. Baldan crosses the line, 42.529, so very much off the pace last time around. He does have time though, 50 seconds on the clock, to try and put one final roll of the dice. Sandro Saubeck is currently going to be the one that we say goodbye to at the end of this session, as the bright yellow machine crosses the line for a 1 minute 35.639. Not as quick as his previous quickest lap, and certainly not quick enough to get into the magic top 10, as Ignacio Montenegro goes fastest. 32.909. Ignacio Montenegro, quickest driver from Franco Girolamo. Conception still in third position and in pit lane. Santiago Concepcion's this session is over and done with. Ruben Volt, green first sector, not a purple, but still looking to improve on his current time. Is Ruben Volt, fourth position for the Estonian. Can he move up as we get to the dying moments of this session? Aurelien Comp decides he's done enough in sixth place to get him into Q2. Job done for the French driver as we've hit 0-0-0, the end of Q1 is here. Still a few drivers on the racetrack completing their final run of the Q1 session. Franco Girolamo is the biggest name of those drivers. He's on an out lap, so there's no need to complete this one. He'll peel off in a pit lane at the conclusion of this lap, or will he? No, he still goes for it anyway, and Girolamo takes the checkered flag to end his Q1 session. Best position he's going to be looking at is second place. Ignacio Montenegro still on the racetrack, but he's not looking to improve his time. Sandro Saubeck, the Austrian driver, local driver here, although never raced at the Salzburgring, does a good job in that older specification Audi, but not quite enough pace to make it through into Q2. A 35.639 is his final effort of the day, a second away from Nico Baldan. So Baldan, one of our championship favourites coming into this year, just about survives and makes it through into Q1. So now we can take a few moments breather. Nobody on the racetrack really looking to improve. The checkered flag is waving, so the final few cars will make their way around to pit lane. And at the end of Q1, it is Ignacio Montenegro from Franco Girolamo. Levente Lasonche, third quickest and the fastest of the... not the fastest, in fact, because it is Montenegro quickest. So Levente Lasonche third, Santiago Concepcion in fourth. Ruben Volt is fifth, Aurelien Comp sixth. Victor Davidovsky, Victor Anderson, Felipe Fernandez, Ruben Fernandez, Giovanni Scamari and Nico Baldan are the 12 drivers that will move through into Q2. And that running order, forget about it. Don't need to worry about it now. Just Q2 into 10-minute dash to the flag. That is what is going to set the grid for race 1, but based on the qualification times that we're about to do in Q2. And race 2 will be a reverse of the top 10. Big question the drivers need to ask themselves now going into this Q2 session is, do you want to fight for the pole, or do you want to play the game and see how close to P10 you can get for reverse grid pole position? Problem with that tactic, A, you don't get the championship points for being in the top 7, and B, if you get it wrong and you're 11th, you'll start 11th for both races. That is the worst position you could possibly be in this field. You'll be so frustrated. It is a real tightrope. You've got a balance here in TCR Europe, and it's going to be fascinating in a few moments' time to see just exactly what these drivers are going to do. Big shout out to everybody watching at home, by the way. Thank you for joining us on TCR TV on YouTube and the TCR Europe Facebook page. Big shout out to everybody watching from the grandstands at the Salzburgring. Wonderful to have you all here, and we hope you're enjoying your first experience of TCR Europe here at this beautiful, beautiful Austrian circuit. It is our absolute pleasure to be here at the Salzburgring. We have loved every moment of our time here in Austria so far, and hopefully now the real important stuff of the qualifying and the races are ahead of us. It's going to get even better again. So great to be here at the Salzburgring, great to be with you online on TCR TV, YouTube and TCR Europe Facebook page. So, what are we to expect now? We've got a few moments break for 5 minutes, probably 3 minutes left, I would say, 3.5 minutes before we go into Q2. Quick opportunity for our drivers to snatch a word with their engineers, plug in the laptop, make sure everything's behaving as it should make any tweaks they need to make, and get themselves into the right frame of mind to do the most important timed session of the weekend. Q2 will dictate the grid for race 1, reverse top 10 for race 2. They know a little bit about the weather conditions because they've just been out there in the session. The rain is still falling, feels like it's maybe a little bit faster, but not quite as big a raindrops, if that makes sense. So it's going to be broadly the same sort of conditions again. Confidence often breeds mistakes. Let's hope our drivers are not too overconfident. Green flag, the end of pit lane. Cars they see on your screen. Straight back at it again. And this is where we really see who's got the bravery, who's got the car underneath them, and who's got the skills required to go fastest of all. Q2 for TCR Europe 2024, right here, right now. Absolutely everybody is out on the racetrack at this moment in time. In fact, I tell a lie, I said everybody is, and I'm looking at my pit window and I can see 2 cars that are not. So we still have a couple of cars holding on for a little bit of breathing space. And there we go. That is one of the Monlau machines, I think, from distance I can see. Just heading out onto the racetrack as well. Name of the game, top 10, the end of this qualifying session. It is Davidovsky. That's the late entrance to the racetrack, just buying himself a little bit of real estate. Just giving himself a little bit of an opportunity not to get wrapped up in anybody else's drama. There is Franco Girolami, that we see going around on his outlap. The Argentine driver, very quick over the course of this weekend, was very quick in Q1. Victor Davidovsky, a little bit frustrated, having made contact with that tyre barrier, but he's back out. He's made it through into Q2, and all will be forgotten with a good qualification session. Girolami then is the front car in the field. Clearly he's gone purple in Sector 1 and Sector 2 because he's on a push lap. There is car number 72, the 2022 TCR Europe champion, the 2023 TCR Italy champion, and now back again in TCR Europe, picking up very much where he left off a couple of seasons ago, and just ahead of him, Aurelien Comte, his main rival over the course of the first 2 weekends of the year. So Girolami and Comte as one. Aurelien, fair driver as he always is, gets well out of the way.
Kurze Information an die Teilnehmer des freien Fahrens mit dem Turn um 18:20 Uhr. Ihr könnt euch bereits fertig machen aus dem Fahrerlager. Es geht zeitig los. Direkt schon vorfahren bitte. Der Turn um 18:20 Uhr, bitte bereit machen.
Minutes and 9 seconds on the clock. Nobody's set a representative time as of yet. It will be Franco Girolami that troubles the timekeepers first. But as we've seen many times in the world of motorsports, when the circuit's wet, it's often the last man over the line is going to be enjoying the best of the track conditions. Not only is it how fast can you go, it's how many mistakes you can minimise over the course of the lap. And the first lap now for Franco Girolami. He crosses the timing beam.
Die Fahrer der Stint um 18:40 Uhr haben ihren Stint jetzt schon um 18:20 Uhr. Der wurde vorverlegt. Alle Fahrer 18:40 auf 18:20. Die Fahrer für 18:20 können jetzt schon runter.
6:70. So it is a Franco Girolami quickest off of the block. Santiago Concepcion goes now in a third position, 1.4 away. Immediately though, Ignacio Montenegro improves on that time to jump up into that third position. So Montenegro now is the third quickest car in the field thus far. No times yet though for Aurelien Comte. And as I say, that one, it is Nico Baldan jumps up in the third place for the Baldan group by Comte to Uauda. 110. Last lap time deleted. That is, of course, number 110, Victor Davidovsky. Davidovsky has no time on the board. Ruben Volt into fifth position, 34.835 for the Estonian driver. Victor Anderson, though, for MAGP. We're seeing very little of Victor so far over the course of this weekend. He goes quickest in the Lincoln Co. 03 TCR. good time for the Swedish driver. Girolami on our screen at this moment in time. He's got an immediate opportunity to respond to the Swede. Comes through the final turn. Can Franco Girolami improve on this lap? It's currently on a 33.494. Crosses the line, 33.199. Franco Girolami goes fastest from Monlau Motorsports, from Victor Anderson, Ruben Fernandez and Aurelien Comte up into third position, despite the 30 kilograms of compensation weight aboard that Cupra. Good time from the Frenchman so far. 4 minutes and 45 seconds then on the clock. Victor Davidovski, who we saw had that lap time deleted for track limit violation. Davidovski does not have a representative time. Oh, he does in fact, 36.150. So a banker lap from the Macedonian driver. He's currently in 10th position, jumps down pit lane. Felipe Fernandez moves up into 4th, and Nacho Montenegro up into 2nd position. Montenegro just almost exactly 1/10 away from Girolami at the front of the field. There is Victor Anderson, bright orange, the Lincoln Co. Cannot miss it on your screens or at the side of the racetrack. Great stuff from Anderson, currently in 3rd. Girolami currently in 2nd. Montenegro does improve last time around, but not enough to get on terms with his fellow Argentinian, Franco Girolami, at the front of the field. As Ruben Volt is 6th position. Anderson down pit lane. Fernandez, Ruben in pit lane as well. And Victor Davidovski back out of the track on his outlap as he's looking to make up for the track limit deletion that he got last time around. Levente Lasonche into 5th position. There is on our screens and Nacho Montenegro gets a little bit squirrely in the place on this racetrack where you do not want to be going sideways. Montenegro though controls the car with his right foot and some quick hands, but he backs out of it on this lap. Probably a little bit grateful that he's not pulling himself out of a tyre barrier, it has to be said. Nacho Montenegro though 2nd on the grid thus far. The ALM Motorsport driver though very much finding the form that we expected to see coming into this 2024 season as he winds the car up again for another roll of the dice. Car number 23, currently 2nd quickest, but looking to get a charge on with 2 minutes and 52 seconds left in this final qualification segment of the day before we go racing in TCR Europe for rounds 5 and 6 tomorrow morning and afternoon respectively. So Franco Girolami, 1 minute 33.199 is our quickest driver in the grid. Nacio Montenegro at 2nd position, 33.302, 1/10 of a second in arrears, and not quite quick as expected in sector 1. So this is not looking like it's going to be an improvement this time around for Montenegro. Victor Anderson on an outlap, he's 3rd currently. The Swedish driver, MAGP Lincoln Co car. He's not had a win in TCR Europe. He has won in a different TCR category, a national championship elsewhere this year, but hasn't taken the victory so far in TCR Europe. He and team will be absolutely desperate to put right that anomaly over the course of the 2024 season. We know Anderson's very quick, only 2nd season of touring car racing. He came over from the United States in single-seaters and is adapted very nicely to racing with a roof on his head. He doesn't quite have the playbook of results as it's a very sideways through the final corner for Santiago Concepcion. Great car control from the young Spaniard, and even though he was pretty much pointing in the wrong direction, he still breaks the timing beam for 4th quickest time. That is a really, really good study in car control for Santiago Concepcion. Really nice driving there by the number 33. He goes up into 4th position. Despite that squirrely moment, he's still got 3.5 of a second to find on the cars ahead of him. I dare say there was a couple of tenths left on the table from that incident alone as we follow the number 33 around. Now still on a bit of a push lap is the Spaniard. Not quite as quick in sector 1 as he has previously been, but there's still time to find out on the racetrack. Aurelien Comte's doing his best to find said time. He is currently in 5th position, car number 7. Position number 5 on the timing screens, position number 1 in the championship standings. Aurelien Comte will not be enthused about the prospect of potentially qualifying behind his rival Franco Girolami and hemorrhaging the points in the championship to go with it. So Aurelien Comte sideways through the final turn, even more so Then Santiago Concepcion, great bit of car control from Aurelian Comp. Told you to watch out for that final corner. Sideways ain't quick though. That does not improve his time with 13 seconds left on the clock. The French driver still has another opportunity to improve, but that will be eyes like dustbin lids for Aurelian Comp after that particular incident. Let's see if he can keep his concentration and bravery intact for one final stab at setting the time here at the Salzburgring, ahead of round 5 and 6 of TCR Europe in 2024. Franco Girolami, that we're looking at on our screen now, he's the quickest driver in the field so far. Comes through the final turn, does Girolami. Not enough time to start a new lap, so he dives down pit lane. Nothing he can do now to improve his chances in qualification. Ignacio Montenegro has also taken the checkered flag as well, so first and second to finish their day. Ruben Volt down in 9th position. That's a turn up for the books for ALM Motorsport. The Estonian driver only in 9th position. Victor Anderson that we're looking at now, he's at a green sector 1. Will he improve? Yes, he does. Victor Anderson at the final opportunity moves up to a provisional 3rd on the grid. Giovanni Scamardi that we're looking at there, the number 34, the grey and orange machine of Giovanni Scamardi. He is currently down in 10th place as the Belgian driver. He's not looking like he's going to move up either. A lot of traffic for Aurelian Comp. Does not need to see that one, does the French driver. Nico Balban crosses the line. He's currently in 12th. Balban fails to improve. Aurelian Comp decides his day is done as well. 5th position, solid considering the compensation weight aboard that SP competition. Cooper Leon, VZ TCR. Santiago Concepcion still out on the track but going slowly. Looking at my timing screen, nobody really on a hot one. Felipe Fernandez, reasonable sector 1 and sector 2, but I don't think he's going to improve. In fact, he bails as I say that one. Santiago Concepcion making his way to pit lane as well. Good bit of driving there. And I think, folks, that is all she wrote for qualification here at a very wet and windy and cold Salzburgring. Despite the bad weather, it's still a beautiful place to go racing. And our qualification session is done. It is Franco Girolami that tops the provisional times from Ignacio Montenegro. Victor Anderson and Santiago Concepcion will be 3rd and 4th for race 1. Aurelian Comp in 5th from Felipe Fernandez in 6th. Levente Lasonche, Ruben Fernandez, Ruben Volt, Giovanni Scamardi round out our top 10 drivers. Victor Davidovski and Nico Baldan are 11th and 12th positions. Hope you enjoyed that one. And remember, we're in action again tomorrow morning, 9:25 CEST. See you all then on TCR TV on YouTube and TCR Europe on Facebook. Thanks for watching, take care, and very best of wishes. Bye-bye.